Okay, so Elimination Chamber has come and gone over the weekend, and there's been a lot of discourse on the internet about what should have happened between Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. There's the people who say that what happened was fine. That was the way it should have been. He should have lost. Then there's other people saying, no, he should have won. He should have won the title. My idea for the Elimination Chamber is, honestly, he should not have even been competing for a title to begin with. In my opinion, it's way too early in the story to throw him at the end boss. And that's basically what Roman Reigns is. He's the end boss. And if Sami Zayn is wanting to work his way and completely destroy the bloodline, why not work your way up the chain of command? Honestly, at Elimination Chamber, yes, Sami Zayn should have been competing. The booking should have been, he wins, so put him up against a foe that he can win. So they should have honestly set it up how after Royal Rumble, you know, Roman is all ticked off and all this other stuff, and he's like, you know, I've had it, I'm gonna put you in your place. And then he sends Solo Sikoa after Sami, the Enforcer, and that's Sami's first challenge. And so at the Elimination Chamber, it's Sami versus Solo, and Sami gets a decisive, declared victory over Solo Sikoa. After he wins, the Usos run out and go to beat him up, and Kevin Owens comes down, and then they start setting up this story of Sami and Owens versus Usos at Mania. And then we can have Sami and Owens dethrone Usos at Mania. So at this point, we have now Solo's been beaten and bruised and ran away with the tail between his legs. Usos have been beaten, bruised, run away with the tail between their legs. And at Mania, Cody beats Roman, so now Roman is deflated. And at this point, but Roman still thinks he can hold the thing together. And then Sami says, I'm coming after you next, Roman. And they set up for Sami versus Roman at SummerSlam, where Sami wins. And that way, Sami still gets an amazing victory, a huge pop in Montreal, his hometown, gets a victory, everybody's carrying around on his shoulders and all that other stuff. It would have been great. Now, another thing to consider on this is everybody's saying, well, if Sami should have won, presumably it would have been Sami versus Cody at WrestleMania. But then the complainers on that were saying, well, no, we can't do that because we can't have Cody beat Sami. Guys, Cody's story is not beating Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is just a vacant placeholder NPC. Okay, it doesn't matter. You know, what's Cody's story been ever since he came out? I want to win the WWE Championship world title because that's what Dusty never won. And he had it, and then it was declared that, you know, there was some screwy rules and he didn't have it. I'm coming back to win it. At no point in Cody's story is, I'm coming back to defeat Roman. Roman is just the random guy who's holding the belt. So Cody's whole story is, I want the belt. I mean, heck, it doesn't matter who he pins. He could pin Drew Gulak for all it cares. It doesn't matter. It completely doesn't matter. Everybody's like, oh, we can't have Sami Zayn take Roman's 900-day reign, and then Cody's not supposed to beat anybody. Cody's supposed to get the title. That's all he's supposed to do. It doesn't matter who. He could pin Becky Lynch for all we care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who he pins. The whole story, the whole arc is, I'm getting the title. The person holding the title is irrelevant. It's insignificant. It doesn't matter. So, and then at that point, after he gets the title, then that's when you start building up this, main event star. So they could have done Sami beats Roman and holds the title until Mania and then drops the title to Cody, or they could have done Sami beats Roman and kind of like Mankind. The next day on Monday Night Raw, Roman wins the title back or something stupid like that. I mean, crap, that's what they did with Braun Breaker at Stand and Deliver last year. Was he went up against Dolph Ziggler, and it's like, here's the big NXT pay-per-view, he's gonna win, and he didn't win. Dolph Ziggler laid him out clean. The very next day, they go on Raw for a rematch on Monday Night Raw, and he ends up winning the title on Monday Night Raw, not on the NXT pay-per-view, but on a random Raw taping. So I mean, you could do that too. It really doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, I personally don't think Sami should have been put in a position to begin with to be in a title match against Roman before WrestleMania, and especially in Montreal, because you're basically just setting him up to lose. And he should have been against somebody to win. I mean, put him up against Baron Corbin, who cares? Put him up against Drew Gulak, who cares? Just put him up against some random, put him up against The Miz, it doesn't matter. Put him up against Austin Theory, who cares? Put him up against somebody, because that's the whole point, is just to get a big pop. And that's why if we're sitting in storyline, the best option would have been to start slow and have him go through the bloodline one by one, have Roman be the ultimate boss. You know, it's like you don't boot Mortal Kombat up and you're fighting Goro. No, you gotta work your way through. You gotta beat 7 guys. Then you gotta beat 3 endurance matches, and then you go to Goro. So the same thing with this. Why are we having him directly go to? I know what they're doing is they're setting it up to where he's gonna have this ultimate rematch at, you know, SummerSlam or something like that, because of course Cody and Roman are gonna have a rematch at Backlash. That's just how it works. So they're probably gonna set it up to where Sami beats Roman at SummerSlam, which is fine, but it's just, they had that opportunity. It was like that once in a lifetime opportunity. That wouldn't been, if you're going to go on the route of having him beat Roman, you had a perfect story. I mean, that him beating Roman at Elimination Chamber in Montreal would have been something that people would have been talking about for 200 more years. They'd be making documentaries about it. But instead, it's just another footnote in Roman's reign. You know, that they really missed an opportunity to drop the ball. At the end of the day, I completely agree with Brian Alvarez, and what he said was just have Sami win the title and have him, we have 6 weeks, have him drop the title at some point between now and Mania, and then Cody still beats Roman. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how long he had the title. It doesn't matter who he is. He's just an NPC, basically. Because Cody's story is, I'm Dusty Rhodes' son, and I need the world title. That's it. That's his story. It doesn't matter who he gets it from. It's just, I'm Dusty Rhodes' son, and I'm getting the world title. So, that's all I wanted to say. I feel like, overall, the match was a fantastic match. It was a phenomenal match. Everything was great about it. I'm really anxious to see where the story goes, because I think that there's going to be a big payoff on this. I just feel like that it's too little too late, because they had the perfect moment to capitalize on Sami Fever, and they dropped the ball. Ultimately, they dropped the ball. He shouldn't have been competing for a title. That's how I feel. Ultimately, he should not have been competing for a title at Elimination Chamber. But I guess that's all there is to that, so thanks for watching. Peace out.